Hello everybody and welcome to Friday's edition of the Pritchard Cycling News Show. This one, I guess we could call this a news special, mainly because we've only been putting out one news show a week and we're going to be talking about one subject, and have a guess what that bloody subject is. Yeah, that's right, Zwift. And we're talking about it because over the past couple of days, a lot of people have said to me, are you going to be addressing the new updates? Are you going to be talking about the new updates? Are you going to tell us what the new updates are so we don't have to go and look for it? And I said, yeah, I'll do that, yeah. So today we're covering the update, not the most recent update, because there was a recent update to fix the bugs that had been caused by the previous update. But on the 29th of April, we saw a big update from Zwift. They dropped a couple of new bikes, new events, we'll get into everything later. And if you watched my live stream yesterday, they still haven't addressed a lot of the issues. But again, we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that shortly. So a brand new update came to Zwift on the 29th of April. Let's head over to the Zwift forum where Wes beautifully writ a post all about the recent update. Oi oi, here we are, Zwift forums, game update 29th of April 2020. What's new? Well, that's what we're going to find out. All right, so let's start with new missions and programs for May. We're not going through all of these, but let's touch on the first one, which is the Tour for All. Join the Tour for All and come together with Zwift community to support Doctors Without Borders, or Médecins Sans Fronteras. Could be French, could be Spanish, I don't know. In response to their COVID-19. So big props to Zwift for putting this on. Obviously it's a big event that they're going to try and raise as much money as they can for Doctors Without Borders. They're also putting on, and we're going to talk about this shortly, a 5-day pro event with World Tour teams, both men's and women's. Ceramic Speed cycling mission. Unlock the Ceramic Speed cycling kit and for a chance to win a Ceramic Speed Ospoa derailleur by riding the target distance on Ospoa enhanced road mountain bike and tri-stroke TT bike. Who cares? Goodar IPA running. Who cares about running? So we don't need to worry about that. Workouts. New additional workouts have been added to the workout program. So if you're a cyclist, there are 8 new workouts, all under 60 minutes. If you're a runner, you probably don't care because you're not even running, but there's 60 new workouts, but who cares? Bikes, this is a big one. So as most of you all know around here, I've been putting out test videos, testing out various different bikes at various different levels. So we've got 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30 is coming soon if I can finally just get it edited. But it's all there, it's all ready, it just needs editing and putting together and putting out. However, this update makes a mockery of my first test video, level 1 to level 10, because 2 new bikes come in under level 10. That's the Factor 1 at level 8, 426,000 drops, Aero 3, weight 3. The fastest bike in that category of level 1 to level 10 was the Zwift Aero. It completed our test course, the figure of 8, in 41 minutes and 15 seconds. The Factor 1, oosh, exactly the same time, 41 minutes and 15 seconds. The next bike, the Ridley Noah Fast 2019, I think it's called, unlocks at level 9, same price as the Factor, 426,000 drops, Aero 3, weight 3. Now becomes the fastest bike between level 1 and level 10. Completes the figure of 8 course in 41 minutes and 14 seconds. So if you're under level 10 and you want in the fastest bike, the Ridley Noah Fast 2019 is now the fastest bike. I mean, it even says it in the title, so you know you're getting a fast bike. Next up, events improvements. Boost mode is a new event type that will allow users to charge a boost with their own watts, of course, and then discharge that boost at a time that's right for them. This mode will be exclusively available in a limited number of FutureWorks Club Jarvis events as we test, tune, and tweak the experience. So when this screenshot hit the Zwift community yesterday, I divided opinion. Some people like it, some people don't. But again, you can't really judge it until you've used it. And it's not going to be available for the majority of people for quite a while they test it out and get it right. So clearly here you can choose your boost type. Efficient, balanced, or power burst. Now next to the green icon, you can see exactly what you're going to get for your power up. Efficiency, you're going to get 50 additional watts for up to 90 seconds. Balance, 200 watts for up to 17 seconds, and then power burst, up to 500 watts for 5 seconds. But like they said, it's going to cost you, and you can see how many watts it's actually going to cost you during that charging time. 50 watts for efficient, 100 watts for balanced. Power burst is going to cost you 150 watts to charge up, but you can see that power burst obviously charges up a lot quicker than the efficient power-up, for instance, or boost. Now, this is the one that gets me a little bit. It gives you a weight penalty depending on your chosen boost. So efficient is going to give you an additional 5 kilos. Balanced is going to give you an additional 7.5 kilos to your current weight. And power burst is going to give you an additional 10 kilos for the entire event. So on first thoughts, what's your impression of this new system? Do you think it's going to be a good thing, a bad thing? Is it going to need a lot of tweaking to get it just right? Do we need it? And is this going to replace what we currently have in terms of bonuses and power-ups? The Aero, the Featherweight, the Tranny Van, the Burrito, the Ghost. Are we going to see them disappear? See what I did there? And replaced for this new boost system? I mean, essentially, the power-ups that we've got now are it's just a random number generator. You just never know what you're going to get and when you're going to get it. But with this boost system, you can go into a race or an event knowing that this is the boost you're going to have and this is the boost you're going to be able to use at certain points. So potentially I could take a boost in there that's going to allow me to be better on a climb so I can stay with the climbers, and vice versa. The climbers might take in the power boost so they can stick with someone like me in the sprint. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Leave your comments down below and let's check out what else was on this update. Next up, they added a new experimental event mode that lets you experience the sights and sounds of Zwift in its most pure form. Now, I guess I should do some research and try and find out what exactly that means, but I just like to make stuff up here and surmise. I'm hoping that this might have something to do with a heads-up display, the fact that you can customize it, you can change it up, you can get rid of the information that you don't want to see on your screen so you can actually see more of Zwift and its purest form of beauty. In terms of sounds, I never listen to it anyway, I don't care. Added support for unique bib numbers for riders and runners in specific events. We'll touch on that shortly when we talk about the big event that's happening next week. Let's move on to bug fixes. Fixed a bug related to events that could cause some lone riders to achieve ludicrous speeds. I'd just like to now point out Exhibit A from last night. Post update. Did you see that? Upgrades to the anti-sandbagging logic used for some races. Again, let's check out Exhibit A. This is crazy. Now I can see why they get pissed off. Now, with all due respect to them, that says some races, so it might not have been implemented across the board. We could have also been racing a race last night. Because I jumped into it so late, I didn't really take into consideration what kind of race it was, and it potentially might have been set up similar to the Zwift Classics, where they have A, B, C, D and E, or not E, maybe just the 4 of them, and depending which group you're in will determine how long the race is. So A's 20 laps, B's 15, C's 10, D's 8, and essentially then you could get riders from A's, B's, C's and D's all racing together. But that's a problem all on its own. Like, we've got this category system to differentiate people's power to weight ratio. You can't then say, oh, that's not what we're using it for today, we're using it for the distance. Because where do D riders get their fix of racing? And yeah, they'll just pick up their own group and race amongst themselves. But there's nothing like sitting at the front of a group and actually being the person who's trying to do the winning of the actual group. And you're never going to get that when there's A's, B's and C's racing in a D. It's a long old story, innit? Anyway, next up. Lots of smaller bugs across all platforms. I don't really know what that means. So then on top of that update, there was another update last night. Fixed a bug that caused some riders to ride at speeds faster than expected in events. I presume what we saw in my stream, obviously that was prior to that update, so hopefully they've sorted that out. Fixed a bug that was making it impossible for some riders to draft others in events. I think we saw that in my event. Yeah, even though I was rubbish and I was crap and I'm ill, by the by, I should at least be able to stay in a group. But as you could see from that, God, it was nigh on impossible to stay with a group. So again, hopefully that has been fixed. But what I want to touch on there is those 2 bikes that have just been updated, the unique bib numbers as well, because next week we're going to see potentially one of the biggest events Zwift has ever put on, not in terms of numbers, but in terms of putting themselves out there for the world to see. So over the past couple of weeks during this lockdown, a lot of different software platforms have tried to jump on the racing bandwagon and tried to put on big events with big names. We saw Be Cool did the virtual tour of Flanders, which Greg Van Avermaet won, and there were some big names in that, him being one of them and probably the biggest in that. Then obviously last week we saw over on Rouvy, we saw the Digital 5 Tour de Suisse, 5 days of stage racing over on that. Again, big world tour names riding on that. And now it appears it's Zwift's time to try and shine. Starting Monday, they've got 5 days of racing. World Tour teams, Pro Conti teams, both men's and women's, with 5 riders in each, taking to the stage. And this is not going to be streamed on YouTube. This is going to be broadcast, not only on the Global Cycling Network app, but also on Eurosport. So I think that this is the time for Zwift to shine. But like I said, because it's being broadcast on Eurosport, you're going to get a lot of people who have never heard of Zwift, never heard of indoor cycling other than a spin class. But how are they going to broadcast it? Because we've seen over the past with the Zwift streams, they're lackluster. They're missing so much. Kind of thinking because it's being broadcast over on Eurosport that there's going to be some next level production to this. And I'm not talking about, you know, a few extra interviews or a flyover of the course talking about it or an in-depth explanation as to what the power-ups do. I'm talking about those camera shots of following that race and it being as entertaining and as exciting as a real world race. I want to see riders, I want to see pain faces, and I think that's what everybody else wants to see. They want to be able to hear those riders working as well. A lot of the time we don't actually get to hear how hard the riders are working. We don't even get to hear those trainers spinning up. And it's the little details like that that we as the audience will need to really get engaged with it. If we just sit there and we see power to weight ratios and we see avatars riding through each other, are we going to see a good, clean finish line camera for once? Are we going to see better? Now I understand the camera work is hard to do within the limitations of the game. Have they been able to open that up and produce better camera angles? Are we going to see those stationary shots where just a blur of riders just shoot past? And the big one, are we going to see the first person cross the line be announced as the winner? Firstly, in the instant of it happening, or are we going to get a different result to what we actually saw on camera? And then secondly, 5 weeks down the line, are we going to find out that these riders actually were riding uncalibrated equipment? And if that does happen, are we going to see what we saw in the Rouvy Tour de Suisse when they saw a rider was riding way beyond his capabilities and clearly on uncalibrated equipment, just kicked out and booted out straight away? It's going to be interesting to find out. But there you go. That is the current state of Zwift and the updates. Leave your comments down below as to everything we spoke about today. Are you looking forward to next week's Tour of All? Are you going to be watching the World Tour riders going head to head on Zwift for pretty much the first time, really? If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you've not done already, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live, when I've stopped being ill, when we're back racing. And until next time, see you there.